Am I the a-hole? Am I the asshole for feeding my Muslim colleague pork? I, 25F, had a new colleague, mid-20s, come in last month. I didn't interact with her much since she's from another department, but she's in the same office as us, so we share a pantry. So I was heating up my lunch in the pantry yesterday. It was pork dumplings and she was sitting at the table. I had some small talk with her and offered my pork dumplings. And while she was eating, she asked what it was and I said pork dumpling. She spitted it out and was really angry about it, saying I should have known she was Muslim and can't eat pork. I apologize, but she just left the pantry. The thing is, I only know she's Arab, and she was like an European-looking Arab with blue eyes and blonde hair, and she wasn't wearing any religious item to indicate she was Muslim. And this morning I received a letter from HR for religious harassment. I mean, on one point I could see why it's disrespectful and I could be really ignorant, but on another hand she's a grown adult and she should have asked beforehand if she had a dietary restriction. Edit: I'm sorry it came off the wrong way, let me clarify. So she told me she was from Dubai when she first transferred to my place, and I knew about it, but it slipped my mind cause she's very European looking. Like, if I remember she was Arab, I probably would have given a heads up given the culture there. I'm by no means saying Europeans can't be Muslim. Am I the asshole for refusing to help while on bed rest? My 29M, GF, 30F, had a baby 3 months ago. Immediately after getting home from the hospital, my GF told me that he would be my responsibility when I was home, since she would have to put up with him all day. I was pretty shocked but reluctantly agreed after she told me she wouldn't be doing it if I was home, so I didn't have a choice. He's very fussy. He often needs to be held or rocked, and he rarely sleeps for more than an hour or two. I've been dealing with this for the last 3 months. I'd get off my job, I work construction, come home and have to hold him so he doesn't cry. Often while trying to deal with dinner. Then I wouldn't get to sleep till about midnight, since that's when he has to be fed to minimize him waking up in the night. Meanwhile, my GF would sit back and watch a show or make herself something. She started going to bed by 10 and sleeping in the guest room since the baby sleeps in our room. For the last few months, I've been getting maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, then going to work and doing a physically demanding job. I was pretty much living off of coffee, snacks, and energy drinks. Then coming home and dealing with the baby all night. I'll admit, I wasn't taking very good care of myself. I started forgetting stuff, even eating. My job performance was slipping. My GF just told me that that's what she deals with all day, so I guess I just felt bad and needed to keep stepping up. I collapsed at work on Thursday and woke up on the way to the hospital. The doctor told me I was basically exhausted and mildly dehydrated and told me to rest, stay home, and drink fluids for a week. Now, my GF is pissed and saying I don't do anything. I'm not even working. I feel bad still since the baby is a lot of work, but at the same time, I was literally told to take it easy. I don't do nothing, but nowhere near as much as I was. Like, I'll sit and hold the baby, or feed him during the day, but I've started going to bed earlier and leaving her up with him. Or making her get up in the night. She keeps saying I'm not doing enough, and calling me lazy. I'm pretty lost at this point. AITA. AITA for telling my mom I was upset she missed my graduation because my sister had a baby. Throwaway account. My 27F sister, 301F, just had her first baby on Sunday morning at 2:30 a.m. It was thankfully a smooth delivery and she and my nephew are happy and healthy. My mom, my dad, me, my sister's husband, and my sister's mill were all at the hospital, per my sister's request, from around midnight on Sunday and the remainder of the day. Well, my graduation from grad school was on Sunday as well at 4 p.m. At around 2 p.m., me and my parents went down to grab lunch from the cafeteria and I realized the time. I asked my parents if they wanted to just meet me at the graduation because I needed to go home and get ready first. My mom looked at me funny and said, "You can't really expect me to leave your sister and my grandbaby right now." I didn't know what to say, but my dad just told me to go get ready and they would meet me there. So I went to graduation and afterwards I looked for my family and sure enough my mom did not come, my dad did. I was upset because I won an award from my program director and gave a speech in which I thanked her specifically and she missed the whole thing. I got back to the hospital and didn't really talk to my mom because I didn't want to make a scene or stress out my sister. Last night my mom called me and I expressed to her how hurt I was, and she said I'm being selfish and need to realize my sister just gave birth and that's more important even though she is proud of me. I ended up hanging up. I guess my thought process is that at the point where it was time to leave, the baby had been born for 12 hours and we spent most of that time with the baby/my sister when they were awake, and I'm glad we did not complaining. My plan was just to go to graduation and pick up my sister's favorite pizza, she was craving it, on the way back and eat with her. My dad and I did just that and in total my father was away from the hospital for right around 3 hours. I understand that giving birth is a huge deal and I'm so proud of my sister. I don't mean to act like my graduation was more important. I just feel like there wasn't a need to choose and my mother could have done both because my dad did. My sister had her husband and Mill that would have been with her. I just had my dad and while I'm grateful he came I wish my mom would have too. My dad agrees with me that my mom should have came, and my sister apologized for stealing the spotlight to which I told her she had absolutely nothing to be sorry for and to focus on herself and the baby and everything with me and mom would work itself out. I think my mom told my sister which makes me more angry because she doesn't need to worry about this, it's our issue. AITA. AmITheAs, I wanted to address a couple things/answer some questions. My sister was totally okay with my parents leaving for a few hours, according to my dad. He told me while we were picking up the pizza that my sister told my mom it was fine and to go. I haven't talked to my sister about it because she shouldn't even be thinking about this right now, she has enough on her plate. I understand some people think graduations are stupid, or maybe even childish. If I had just been walking across the stage for a few seconds and that was it, this wouldn't really bother me. I was given an award and gave a speech in which I recognized my parents but mainly my mom because I am following in her footsteps and entering the same field she is in. It was special to me for her to hear me acknowledge her and to see me do that. Maybe that's still stupid to some, but it wasn't to me. Lastly, I don't know about any drama between Mill and our mom. I know husband thinks my mom is nosy, and he might have relayed that to Mill and it might be a thing. But Mill lives far away and so she doesn't come to gatherings or anything that often. I think the last time my mom had any meaningful interaction with her was at my sister's wedding 2 years ago. AITA for smoking weed on my deck? I am 24, live next to this couple with 2 kids. My deck is pretty close to their backyard and it started to become an issue. I sometimes smoke weed after I get home from work to unwind and to deal with some anxiety. My neighbors have started to complain to me about it. A month ago the husband knocked on my door and told me to stop doing it on my deck. I told him it's quite literally the only place I can do it. He then told me he doesn't feel safe letting his kids play in the backyard until I stop smoking and that he doesn't want his kids to play in the backyard if he catches a whiff of it. I said sorry but I won't stop and that I'm well within my rights to do it. I told him I'll avoid smoking if I see his kids outside. I also said I don't complain when him and his friends drink in their backyard and get loud at really late hours. He threatened to get the police involved and I invited him to do so because like I said I was well within my rights to. He ended up filing a complaint with the HOA and they sided with me and told him that it's perfectly legal to do. His wife came up to my house yesterday and kindly asked me to stop and said it drives him nuts when he looks out the window and sees me do it. I told her I'm really sorry but it's none of his business. I feel bad that what I'm doing is driving him nuts but feel like I am doing nothing wrong. AITA.